Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're listening or watching from. This is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, another episode, and I have with me an amazing lawyer, a lady that's added so much value in the space. We're looking at leadership and branding, but the sub theme is leading with power, brand power, which is going to break it down. How are you today, Adeola Osifeko?
Good morning, Mr. Adegoke. I'm happy to be here and I am doing very well. I'm also happy to be on your podcast. It's such a delight, to talk about, a subject matter that resonates with me. I would say that you have given me the opportunity to put my best and my first foot forward. I am grateful for that.
Okay, thank you so much. Now tell us, who is Adeola Osifeko?
Okay, so Adeola Osifeko is an intellectual property lawyer and a corporate governance practitioner. I help businesses, I help organizations, and even individuals to build resilient brands, right? And beyond building resilient brands, to also commercialize their position in their niche markets. I
Okay.
have practiced for 15 years. I started off as an advocate. I also known as a litigator. I used to litigate IP disputes, whether as the plaintiff or as defendant. And I started my legal practice with Shofunde Osako in the Grand Belgore. And then I proceeded to Ifeyo Osaka and Associates, where we are predominantly doing intellectual property 65% of the time,
Wow.
and that's where my interest grew in this area. And at some point in time, I also went into the corporate world, as a solicitor, and then decided, to start out on my own. I technically started out on my own in 2022,
Wow.
although I'd registered in 2018, but I had one or two stints with, the law firms rather, a manufacturing company. And then I decided that, okay, I think I've been able to garner enough relationships
Okay.
because they are relationships are very key for lawyers. And I was not willing to, take my destiny in my hands,
Wow.
right? And determine.
Fantastic. 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 Well done. Well done. Your
Thank
journey has
you.
been quite interesting. 15 years. Congratulations to you. Now tell us, what do you define as leadership?
Leadership is the ability to recognize the potential you have, maximize it, and release it. Release it meaning you take it to the marketplace, wherever you're leading or whatever it is that you're doing. You take it to the marketplace. You
Okay.
lead with inspiration. You lead with a reputation,
Okay.
and before you become a corporate leader, you must first become that personal leader. You must be able to lead yourself before you're able to inspire others to be led by them. That's my
Awesome.
understanding of leadership.
Fantastic. Fantastic. If you just joined us, this is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, another episode of our podcast. And I'm speaking with an amazing lawyer, Adeola Osifeko, and we're looking at leadership and branding. Um, so what is branding really?
Branding is an intangible asset
Okay.
that you can trade with. It's intangible, but it can be experienced, right? And
Okay.
it can be experienced in a consistent way. Once you project an experience consistently,
Okay.
you're recognized for that thing, whether it's a service, it's a product, or just an experience. It's a brand. As much as possible, I don't want to use you know, highfalutin words,
Okay.
just basic words that people can recognize. So anything that projects recognition in a consistent way falls within that, understanding of branding. And even with the World Intellectual Property Organization even defines your brand as that recognizable mark or name in the marketplace in which you can trade with and which you can grow sustainably. So it's pretty much that simple to understand.
Okay. So how do you lead with your brand power? How do you lead your brand power? Yeah.
That's a very interesting question, because most of the time, people see branding as marketing.
Okay.
People see branding as a consumer advantage that you have as a competitor in the marketplace. Well, these are concepts that are, attached to branding. But when you lead with branding, you see yourself beyond a name. You see organization beyond a name, and you see it as one that has economic value. And you
Wow.
make a decision about it, whether as a sole director in your organization or as a board of directors. You make a decision by saying, I think that this name, this catchy phrase, this logo should be registered. We need to protect it because it helps us to be recognizable in the marketplace. And so, like Apple, like Nike, and the other
And
brands that
also, leadership talk with Adegoke.
and also leadership talk with Adegoke, you decide that you're going to brand. You're going to brand, take advantage of your brand by registering it. So when you register it, it now becomes a trademark, right? And when your certificate is being issued to you, it's no longer a TM. It now has an R symbol on it saying that it is a registered trademark. Is it possible for a trademark to be unregistered? Yes. A trademark can be unregistered, but can you sue under intellectual property for an unregistered trademark? No. And that's why every co-founder, every founder, every business owner, every business leader must be decisive about that mark, that catchy, that word that represents them in the marketplace. They must take advantage of it by registering it. When it becomes registered, then you can now begin to trade with it. Beyond trading with it, you can even decide to scale with it. And when you decide that, oh, it's time for us to scale, the whole conversation changes. And as we go further down the conversation, I would make that necessary pivot. So how do you decide to lead with a brand? You decide to lead with the brand by registering it, giving it that legal
backing.
recognition. Yes, that legal backing. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, so when we talk about protecting your identity as a brand, how do you do that? Apart from
Okay, so
registering,
okay, very, 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 very interesting. That's the first stage, which is a very fundamental decision leaders make in their organization to get your trademark registered, right? So your logo becomes registered. Once it becomes registered, you're more confident to trade with it. Why are you confident to trade with it? Because you have the legal ammunition of the intellectual property rights backing you. And so if Mr. Adegoke wakes up one day and he's informed by a business associate that there is actually a First Consulting Limited.
First degree consulting limited.
That's what I'm saying. It is not first degree, it is First Consulting Limited with the same one ST. Without the degree and consulting limited, doing exactly the same thing you're doing. Mr. Adegoke, how would you feel about that? You would switch.
I know.
How is that possible? And then you go to social media, you check out, you punch that First Consulting Limited, and you find a website similar to your website with similar contents. the same markets. So beyond trademark leadership, sorry, brand leadership, and taking advantage of your brand power, you have asked a very important, how do you protect it? So how do you protect it? By, taking advantage of the legal artillery you have, get your lawyer to write to an infringer, to cease and desist. And was this was what happened between Zap Africa and Paystack by Zap in 2025. So um, Zap Africa, a cryptocurrency company, had registered its trademark under classes 35, business services and advertising, um, under class 42, that's technology services, and one other class. There were three classes.
Yeah.
And Zap by Paystack had also, taken steps in 2025 to register Zap by Paystack. Now, this is not Zap. This is Zap by Paystack under similar classes.
Wow.
Right? And, yeah. And, at the launch of Zap by Paystack, Zap Africa disrupted that launch and said, we've always been in the market. In fact, we're in the market before you. We're a cryptocurrency. We have investors. We're a cryptocurrency company.
Yeah.
We have investors, and we also have a full team that is working behind Zap Africa. So there's only one Zap in Africa, who is Paystack. And Paystack says, okay, we are a payment solutions company, and we're offering flexible payments across wallets, payment systems. We're not crypto. What we do is, but you are the most important thing is that you are confusing the market with that word Zap. And I think it's still a subject of litigation right now. But
Wow.
how the trademark works is that, and this is how trademark works. Once it's registered, the trademark registrar would first consider who registered that mark, who was the first proprietor of that mark before he makes a decision, especially when they're within the same class. So let's see how that conversation pans out. But I'm just trying to let you understand how you can threaten Mr. Adegoke if one day you find a First Consulting Limited, not first degree, but first consulting, doing exactly what you do, and even finding a space, in the same markets as you are, you become threatened by that presence.
Interesting. Okay, so now let me connect with the CAC, I mean, if you want to, take it in that direction, if you want to register a business, Corporate Affairs Commission, for example, First Degree Consulting Limited. Can someone go and register First Consulting Limited?
Well, that's not a conversation we should have, because that's a structure now. But we're not talking about the business structure. We're not talking about corporate structure. We're talking about that marketing identity.
All right. Okay.
That you have, that you register with the trademark registry. That's the Intellectual Property Office, of Nigeria, under the Department of the Trademark Registry. That's different from Corporate Affairs Commission,
I know, I know it's different. I'm just saying, I mean, if you go to Corporate Affairs and you say you want to register First Consulting Limited, probably they will turn it down because there's already first degree.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very, very possible, but it just depends on how you write it. But that's not, like I said, it's the structure now. Anything that has to
I know. It's totally different from branding. Yeah.
But everything that has to do with branding has to do with the trade aspects of your business, which is in form of a brand, and that brand is projected as marketing tools, symbols that help you identify, or words, catchy words that help you identify your product or your service. Let me take us back to what happened between Apple Apple and a Chinese company called ProView. Now, Apple in its mind thought that it was fully protected globally, right? They hadn't registered Apple under the Madrid Protocol. I don't even think yeah, there was Madrid Protocol at that time, but they thought that they were protected,
Yeah.
so they went into China and they wanted to what's it called now? And they went into China and I'm coming. Let me look this case up.
Well, I mean, I know
They
that.
went into Yeah, they went into China. Sorry. It's called Profile iPad trademark dispute
Okay.
in China.
Okay. Okay.
So they went into China and they wanted to trade with that name, iPad, and realized that a Chinese company had already registered iPad years before
Wow.
Apple came into the Chinese market.
Hmm.
And that first to file system
Hmm.
of trademark also works in China. Intellectual property is a universal function as a universal, artillery within the intellectual property space,
Yeah.
and they also go by the first to file system,
Hmm.
and then you know, the Chinese authority, based on their legal advantage, they blocked product shipments of iPads into China. They seized inventories and they halted sales of iPad in China. And you know
Wow.
what happened? Because Apple had to not only save its face but guard its reputation, it had to buy that mark iPad for
Wow.
$60 million. This is not legal fees. This is not research fees. This is fees to protect that mistake that they had made in China.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's so important to first get registered. So whether you are in Nigeria or you want to be after compliance, you need to register your trademark within those African territory. Now that there's so much conversation going around the Africa Continental Free Trade, and all of that. But protecting once the issue of protecting your trademark comes into play, and there's a little bit of market distortions, then you know that business, that trademark has not become an asset for you.
Hmm. Wow.
But why wait until when you want to scale or you want to make a major decision before, because you would have been looking at your balance sheet, you have been seeing that you're making profit from this particular service or product. You take advantage of that and proactively register your trademark, because it really, really goes a long way. So if a big company like Apple and Stripe, now previously known by Paystar, could make such mistakes, I think that this is a very good precedent for founders,
Wow.
for board of directors, you know, to take advantage of. No matter how your company is, so long you're making profit using that particular symbol, using that name,
Awesome. Awesome.
it's
Awesome.
very important for you to not
Awesome.
only register it on that. For instance, what's it called? Zap by Paystack wasn't only registered under class 36 payments. It was registered under technology services class 42. It was registered under, class 35 as business solutions. The same with Zap Africa.
Wow.
So you see that before you scale, so imagine such embarrassment it cost Paystack,
Hmm.
to launch, and at the middle of the launch, a Zap Africa comes and says we are the only Zap
Wow.
in
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. This is quite interesting. Okay, so we just have two more questions. If you just joined us, this is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, and I have with me a lawyer, also a solicitor. You know, core competence really, she has so much depth in the area of intellectual property. And today we're looking at leadership and branding. Her name is Adeola Osifeko. Okay, so I just have two more questions. Now, because some of our listeners, might want to reach out to you, to learn from you. or to, get more in terms of knowledge or your services, how can they reach you?
Okay, you can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm Adeola Osifeko.
Okay.
Also, a practice. That's my business name.
Okay.
On you can also read my blog. The legal trove is also a registered trademark,
Okay.
right? And also a project called Authors and Creators, also by AU Law Practice. It's going to be a training product of AU that will commence hopefully this second quarter. And
Okay.
I hope that particular channel we're able to, create more awareness about intellectual property, about trade, about being market ready, about knowing what to do, beyond having that trademark. We've only talked about protecting that trademark, but I believe that you can commercialize it by licensing,
Okay.
by having a licensing agreement, and for those who want to scale big time, like the slots, like the KFCs, like the Chicken Republic, you can actually pivot into a franchise model, still
Wow.
using that brand assets, that has been registered as a trademark. So it's not about only being protected, it's about commercializing.
Mhm.
Once you protect yourself, then you have every tool you have to trade with it and make money with it, because that's the most important, and you can now begin to evaluate your brand using advertising, using collaboration. That's how you actually evaluate the
Yeah.
effectiveness of your brand. Once you start getting licensing agreements for that trademark, you start licensing, giving people the permission to use it in a certain way within a certain jurisdiction and within certain
Wow.
parameters. You should also ensure you registered with the trademark.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Wow. This is good. This is good.
Same with when you into franchise. Okay, yeah. Same with when you pivot into a franchise, you're supposed to register
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Wow. Wow. This is so good. This is so good. Wow. All right.
which you can commercially take advantage of your trademark, beyond just the instruments of
Thank you.
registration.
Thank you so much. Okay, so uh wow, awesome. You've heard it from the lady Adeola Osifeko, the lawyer, the intellectual property lawyer. She's added so much value on leadership and branding. She's told us the importance of registering your trademark, uh, and also ability to scale, license and the area of commercialization of a trademark. Last question. Do you have mentors?
Yes, I do have mentors. I definitely do have mentors, both in Nigeria. There's someone I really, really, really admire, and she's someone I've followed closely. I really admire Mrs. Folorunsho Alakija, although she's not within the legal space,
Okay.
but I look up to. She's in oil and gas.
Mm.
Her business savviness, her grit has been one that has inspired me,
Awesome.
and also her social her corporate
Capital.
social responsibility. Yes, social capital that is being reflected in our organization's corporate social responsibility is one that I am hopefully going to, adopt, and
Awesome.
not just adopt in my words, but actually adopt in AU law
Congratulations.
practice.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Then
Awesome.
then
Awesome.
in the law practice, Mr. Itwa Igudalo, he's an established lawyer.
Yeah.
He's now a politician. But in the corporate world, most of you can't call Itwa Igudalo and and you will not have heads turn. Mr. Gbenga Oyebode too is one I greatly admired. He's been
Awesome.
not only a mentor within the Alukwane Oyebode world, but he's been a mentor to us lawyers. He's given himself to us. He's made himself available. Same with Mr. Itwai Budalo as well. So these are my
Awesome,
mentors.
awesome, awesome. I think that's okay. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I can see that you have loads of mentors. So we can now see the reason why you are adding so much value and have so much depth. So that's another session of leadership talk with Adegoke, and we've looked at leadership and branding. I'm sure our listeners will reach out to you definitely and be able to benefit from your wealth of experience. So it's been an engaging session. I'm so proud to have this opportunity to host you, and I trust that we'll be seeing you sometime soon again. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and let me make a closing remark,
Yeah.
right? Uh, your brand is your business assets, and it's actually valuable. It's
Wow.
valuable not only to the organization, but in the marketplace.
Wow.
So if you have a brand, register it. If you want to scale, license and franchise, or do both. And if you want to get financing, I think you can also leverage on it, right?
Wow.
Once it's registered, it can be
Wow.
evaluated by it can be what's it called? It can be evaluated by
Wow.
investors, right? And it
Wow.
can be used as collateral,
Wow.
So
Thanks a
your
lot.
it's actually assets. It's
Wow.
actually a business asset to your organization, and you should take it seriously and
Thank you.
intentionally build it. So how do
Wow.
you reach me? You can also personally reach out to me via email, Adeola at
Yeah.
aeolawpractice.com, or you can actually call me. So the truth is, once you log on to the Legal Trove, my contact details are there. So
Are
you
there?
can
Okay.
actually call me. Yes. You can, if
Okay.
you want to call me, you can actually call me
All right.
using that
Thanks a
avenue.
lot.
And if you go to my LinkedIn page as well,
All right.
AU Law Practice, telephone number is my mobile number is there. You can actually call me.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Wow. It's been an
You're
amazing session. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
welcome.